about Hacker League, here's the IRC. Here is Hacker League, so go to Hacker League and you can find the hackNY Hackathon. We've got 23 hours and 42 minutes. hackNY is a hackney hack. I think all three of the co-founders of Hacker League right here, is that right? Each, me? All three of the men.
All three.
All three of the co-founders of hackNY. Of Hacker League, awesome story, awesome tool, thank you very much. Right here, so that we'll be using Hacker League mostly to get out the word to you, although you may occasionally see some informative tweets and maybe they'll see some things on the internet like, here it is, yo. Okay, so you can go to the meet that bad boy. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having us.
Because use the mic.
Because it's not coming through.
It was on.
Are you using this computer?
Oh,
no.
mine.
So not a program.
Test. Yeah, that's fine.
Over here.
Yeah, it's working. Wait, I heard you. Okay.
How do I use the mic?
Okay.
Does this work?
Yeah, it should. See if it's loud enough for you.
Test.
It still says we're online.
Oh my god, my history. What is that?
Are you dual screen?
Yeah. So are we seeing anything now? It's not coming over. Oh, there we go. Not really that good.
Good.
Yeah.
Hello? Are we sure that this audio... Do we know if this works? This is on?
The efficiency of this room is pretty good. You look like you're
Hello?
Let's go whenever you want.
Okay. Shall we get started?
All right.
All right.
Delivery.com. Let's do this.
Hey guys, I'm Jay. This is Mike. We're from Delivery.com. We're going to talk about our API and some of the cool apps that you can build on top of it. I actually graduated in 2008 from C's, so it's great to be back on campus. Appreciate you guys having us. Anyway, so for those of you who don't know, Delivery.com is a platform that connects users with local merchants. So you can order food, booze, laundry, dry cleaning, and groceries on our site. And what we've done recently was expose our API to third-party developers so that you can actually write all the apps that you want on top of our API. And the reason why I would be interested if I were you is that we'll give you a cut of every order that you send through our API. So if you make an awesome app and it blows up and you get millions of users, there's a potential to make a significant amount of money that way. On top of that, we're running a challenge through this company called Challenge Post that basically we're going to give out $65,000 in prize money to the best apps created in the next couple months. So I would encourage everyone to Google Challenge Post and Delivery.com to figure out how you can apply for some of that cash. And I will turn it over to Mike, who will walk through the API quickly.
How's it going? So a good place to start is developers.delivery.com for the documentation. You can pretty much just dive in here and explains everything that you need to know to start developing against our API. The API actually powers our mobile site, so I'm going to give you guys a quick demo of the site working with our API. So the first place you start is actually the search, which will return a list of merchants that are in the area for the address that you typed in. To give you a quick demonstration of what the API response looks like, we're going to open up Postman here. See that, right? And that's basically what the response looks like. Now, once the search results have loaded, you can open up any menu. There we go. And voila.
I'm going to scroll down.
That's part of it. Okay, so then once you're on the menu, you can add a few items to your cart. We have an endpoint for that as well. Add to your cart. Go to checkout. Oh, didn't meet the minimum. No. All right, so we suggest you don't check out that merchant. They're not that great anyway. If you guys like falafel, we could try that.
Did you put in the address?
I did. Okay, so we have your cart ready to go. You can select pick up delivery, which will bring you to the checkout. You enter your payment methods. And then if I were to place order here, I'd probably get an order to my house. Okay, that's about it.
So do we want to go through some of the endpoints?
Yeah, so on the documentation, we have a bunch of endpoints here. So like I said, you would start out with a search here, and then you'd hit the menu. There are a few intervening steps here, but they're pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah. Yeah, so as you can see, here's the GET request that would hit the merchant search. You can go in and put in, if you scroll down, you can put in like a lat long or just an address. And that was the first endpoint that we hit on Postman, and you got back a list of merchants. So.
Okay,
Pretty much it. Awesome. Thank you.
Questions, or you just keep going?
Just keep going. All right, next up is Gerard O'Neill from Etsy. Gerard is a former HackNY fellow. If you have questions about the fellowship program, you can speak to Gerard about it.
Oh, okay. Display. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Hey everyone, can you hear me? Is the audio on? Is this on? Okay, can you guys hear me? Yeah. Okay, cool.
Okay, quiet.
Oh.
Don't let me interrupt you.
All right, my name's Gerard. Please be quiet. My name's Gerard. I work at Etsy. If you guys don't know what Etsy is, it's an online store where you can buy and sell handmade and vintage goods. It's really cool. So if you ever wanted like a hoodie that looked like, you know, a knight's armor or something, or if you have a tortoise and you want it to look like a taco, Or if you want a sensual rose with mildly customizable 6-inch Subway meatball with red onions, black olives, and Swiss cheese, then you can get that. Yeah, it's only $60. So you've got a lot of products on Etsy that you don't really have anywhere else. You have lots of cool images. People like to take beautiful images and stuff. And yeah, so I'm not up here to tell you what you can buy on Etsy. I'm telling you what you can access on Etsy, which is pretty much everything. Our mobile app uses the API, so anything that our mobile app does, you guys can do. And so yeah, we have API documentation that's extremely thorough. It's got pretty much everything you need. It's got all of our endpoints. It's got examples for code and stuff. We've got a few different APIs. So most of our API is RESTful, so you don't need OAuth or anything. If you want access to people's shops or their accounts to buy things, whatnot, then you're going to have to use OAuth, unfortunately. But 99% of our API is OAuth free, and we've got some real-time feeds. So if you want some streaming stuff, we can do that for you as well. It's really awesome. And I'm going to show you real quick 2 things that I've made with the Etsy API. One of them I demoed last year, so if you guys were here, then it might be a little boring. All it does is it takes 3 random listings from the Etsy API, or listings meaning products, and converts one of the images to ASCII art, and then you have to guess what it is from these 3 choices. So does anyone want to try to guess what this is? Hold on, so let's look at it first. And then necklace, lanyard, sweater chain, women's necklace, leatherfish, still life in series number 1, or personalized M-Tech folding knife, something. Number 3? Oh, let's see what we got. You got it. All right. And we can keep playing, but I don't want to keep playing. And then something I whipped up just this week. I call it Tinsy. It's like Tinder meets Etsy, so you can go through products and like and dislike them. So let's say I like this one. I can go to my favorites, and it's there. Isn't that awesome? So, yeah. I'll be on this all night just liking new items and stuff. Like, I like those boots. So they're there now. And if you want inspiration for other types of things you can build, we've got etsy.com/apps, and it's got tons of different applications that people have made, like pages and pages. We've got probably over 100 things here that you can use for inspiration. And if you want access to the API, it's really easy. Just go to etsy.com/developers, and all the details are there. Again, etsy.com/apps for inspiration. My name's Gerard. My Twitter handle is GRARDB. It's pronounced GRARDB. That's my email, and we're hiring. And I'm going to be here the entire duration of the hackathon. I'm not going to leave or sleep. If you see me sleeping, you can pour a beverage of your choice on me. So yeah, if you need help, I'll be around. And that's all for me.
Thank you, Gerard. Okay, and we're pleased to have next Foursquare. Will be presenting their API.
Yeah. Oh no. All right, I have a short presentation and then we'll do a demo. I'm Miriam. I'm a software engineer at Foursquare. Hi. So from a user perspective, Foursquare is there to help people make the most of where they are. But for you guys, for developers, we're basically the best API for converting GPS location into meaningful data. So things you can do with our API. You can access our venue database, which is huge. We have millions and millions of venues on our database. If you give us a GPS coordinate, latitude and longitude, we can tell you what venues are there. With each venue, we can give you things like the tips that people, the things people talk about at those venues. Those are called tips. We can give you check-in counts, photos at the venues, and the number of people that are there right now. And there are 2 ways you can search our venues. You can use a recommendation kind of search, give me places that serve food that are near this lat long. Or you can say, give me all the venues that are at this lat long. You can also interact with users. So for this, you need OAuth, but you can connect to a user's account and access all of their check-ins, all the tips that they've written, get like a list of their friends, and you can use that to get personalized search results and a lot of other things. You can also get pingbacks. So Untapped, anytime you check in, if you are an Untapped user and a Foursquare user, if you check into a bar, then like we will ping Untapped, and Untapped will ping you saying, hey, what beer are you drinking? Tell us, and we'll like log it. So that's like the way you use pingbacks in Foursquare. And there are a bunch of companies that use our API. This is a very small subset. We have approximately like 50,000 developers, so yeah. I'm going to show you a thing I wrote this morning. All right. So this is a small, stupid little Python thing that, give it a lat long, it tells us what words are most common, like at that place. So the lat long that I put in here is the Columbia lat long. So I think it's right on the library. And if we run this, it takes a bit because it's dumb and the API calls are not like parallelized or anything. Give it a minute. Okay, so the most common words, they're in reverse order. So we have which, okay, there are a bunch of dumb words right here. But then we get into interesting stuff, like we see Columbia, people, like university, building, library, student. Yeah, so there are a lot of cool things you can do with the Foursquare API. I'll bring up the code one more time, just so you can see how short it is. Yeah, it's kind of a dumb thing. Like I'm not doing any like fancy NLP stuff, but still, with like this amount of code, we can get really interesting information about where we are. Thank you.
Next up is Handybook. And then on deck will be MongoDB, Mode.io, Orderin, Shapeways, and Nojitsu.
Let's go. Set up right here. Perfect.
There you go.
This little guy? I want to worry about that little guy. All right. Where's my mouse? And then, where's the full screen action? It's like on the right side. Let's just do some display adjustment. Let's go. Ah! Notes. All right. Cool. Hey, everyone. I'm Justin Martin. This is On. I'm from Handybook, and we're going to present the Handybook API. This thing's awesome. I just wanted to show it's kind of out of control. Just to give it a moment to admire the squirrel. Okay. So cool. Handybook API. Here's the link to our kind of API docs, and I'll kind of walk through some of the things that you can do with it. Right now, today, we'll be presenting how to book a home cleaner, and we'll be exposing that part of our API. Real quick about Handybook, we are the easiest way to book home services, right? You can, if you need a plumber, an electrician, someone to hang a photo or like multiple TVs in your house, you just go to handybook.com or use our app, schedule it, and they'll be there exactly when you want them to be. And awesome professionals, by the way. They're all really great, super awesome people. Okay, so how to do this? Real quick, walk through these. I'm going to see if I can do a little bit of a live demo. I'm going to be using, oh yeah, look at that. Beautiful. Let's see if I can do this while seeing. Shrink this down. I'm going to be using a Ruby gem that we have that's available, and I can share it with you guys. We also have a REST API that you can use and kind of walk through our API. Okay, so in order to use it, first you got to get an API key, which I will share with all of you, which is going to be awesome. And with the lovely API here, I can just add in some config params, let it know exactly who I am and what I'm going to be doing here. And now I can start using our API to book a home cleaner. Now, this is awesome because someone's actually going to come to your house or wherever you schedule this to and do cleaning. You're going to be booking something with a real human being. So it's a little bit different than a lot of APIs. So to book a home cleaner using the gem, and I'll show you the REST API in a second, it's as easy as you give it a zip code. Oops, copy paste did not work. You give it the zip, and then this is the number of bedrooms and the number of bathrooms that you want this cleaner to do. And we will then, oh, doesn't like the formatting there. I love how you can see it too. It's like so clear. Yeah, right? Yeah. Now that's actually going to get a quote, and this is how much it would potentially cost to get this home cleaner. Now this is also on our staging server, so bear with me, the costs are not actually what it actually cost with handybook.com. But this is actually showing how much it would cost to book the cleaner. And now I'll show you real quick how much it would be to actually make a booking. Now you do this API call, and you're actually going to have someone come, if you do it via handybook.com, to clean your home, which is really freaking awesome. And so right there, I just booked a home cleaning on our staging server, and I can show that to you here's handybook.com. This is my personal account page. It's not quite the right screen size here. Unfortunately, I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but you can see this is the home cleaning that I just booked, and it's scheduled for April 10th at 3 p.m. Now this is really awesome because then you can just like have for example, an app that throws parties, right? You organize a party, it sends out a whole bunch of Facebook events, and then automatically schedules the home cleaning right afterwards to make sure that everything is beautifully clean and wonderful. Which you got to have. Okay. And then let's kind of walk through this a little bit more. You can book the home cleaner, you can check the status of your bookings, and then of course you can cancel it on the worst case scenario, which is quite uncommon. But then we also have a couple other people using our API. One I can mention, and there's a few others, is Airbnb uses our API so that whenever they have someone to come to a new place, they stay there for a day, and then we automatically schedule a home cleaning the next day, and our cleaners go in and they do a beautiful job and they make it just like new. And there's a few other people I can't actually mention using the API. But if you email your hack to hackNY@handybook.com, you'll have the chance to win the best hack will have the chance to win a iPad mini, which is pretty good times. Cool. And that's the majority of the API. I will walk you through super quick. We've got our API docs, really simple. Just a few GET requests, pass in a couple params, and you can make this stuff in under 30 seconds, under 60 seconds. You can actually book someone to come to your venue and clean your place. Cool. That's pretty much all of it.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much, Handybook, for the API and docs. Okay, next up is Philip. Philip's going to tell us about the MongoDB API. Thank you, Philip Kitsa.
Hey guys. Hey. So my name is Philip. I'm a software engineer at MongoDB, and I was a hackNY alumni, summer of 2012, and also Rutgers alumni. So proud history. So what is MongoDB? So over this weekend, you'll probably be making programs that either generate data or get data from other sources. And you're going to need to store that data somewhere. And that's where MongoDB comes in. MongoDB is a database, which basically means it's a program that stores data on your hard disk. Specifically, it's a NoSQL database, which means that it stores data in the same format that you query data. And that format is JSON, which is a document-based format. And it's also the format that JavaScript uses to represent objects. So that's a lot to talk about, but I'm going to show you a little bit of a demo about MongoDB. Yeah, there we go. So over here I have a shell, and I already have MongoDB running. So if I type in the Mongo command, I connect to it. And this is a JavaScript shell, so it can interpret stuff like var a equals 1 plus 2, and print it out, and it runs JavaScript, basically. So you insert data into MongoDB by using db.persons. Persons is a collection that can hold collections of documents. And you call the insert function on it, and you give it a document. So you give it, say, name is Philip, last visa, ID 1. And MongoDB says that it inserted one document. So I'm going to insert a couple more. You guys got some names? Gerard. O'Neill. No? Okay, capital. All right. And, oh, sorry, Jared. Yeah, all right, let's see about that. Okay, so you can find your documents by running db.persons.find, and it returns you all the documents. Now you see over here, MongoDB added an underscore ID field, which is basically a unique identifier for each document. You can also query it specifically by saying, find me all the persons whose name begins with Philip, and it returns me 2 documents. You can also ask it more complicated queries like, give me all of the documents where IDs are less than, say, less than 2, 5, 2. And that gives me 2 documents. So yeah, that was a small walkthrough of MongoDB. MongoDB has many other features, such as it can update documents in place atomically. You can build indexes on those collections, which means that you'll get faster queries. It also has this feature called GridFS, which allows you to store blobs, large binary blobs like videos or images. It has aggregation, which allows you to count things. So say you can ask MongoDB, who sent me the most emails in the past 2 weeks, or how many unique IP addresses visited my site in 1 month. You can connect with Hadoop. You can run full text search queries, so you can search your database like you would a search engine. And it also has geospatial indexing, which allows you to store geospatial coordinates inside your database and ask questions like, what are the n closest museums to my location? This feature is what Foursquare is actually built on. And there are hundreds of companies that use MongoDB, including New York Times, Foursquare, Guild Group, and Chicago Tribune. So we have, MongoDB has support for many languages, actually all the most popular languages out there, Java, JavaScript, Node.js, Python, Ruby, and it allows you to use MongoDB in a natural way in your language. And yeah, that's about it. You can download MongoDB on the website. It has support for Windows, Mac OS X, Linux. We're also hiring, and I'll be around for most of the night, so you can just ask me questions. Cool. Thanks.
All right, our next demo is Mode.io will be given by a hackNY celebrity. This man won the first 2 hackNY hackathons.
4 years ago.
4 years ago. He was a fellow 4 years ago, and he's one of the 3 founders we already introduced from Hacker League, Ian Jennings.
Hey everybody, my name is Ian Jennings. I am a class of 2010 fellow. I'm a Rutgers alumni. And I work for a company called PubNub now, which actually powers Mode.io. Modeo is a project I started about a year ago, and what it is, it's a mobile app that lets you control web pages with your phone. So it's like a remote control for the web. So this is the landing page, and I got a nice little short video. That's me jumping into a couch. And all right, so these remotes you can actually build with an API. So I'm going to get into that a little bit. These are all the sites that it works with right now. And I started with 6 that I made myself, and hackers added another 6 remotes. So at this last hackNY hackathon in September, hackers made 3 remotes, and then they were merged in, and now they're live for everyone to use. And so the way you make remotes is there are 2 parts to the app. There's a Chrome extension, and there's a mobile app. You don't need to know anything about mobile programming to make a remote. You just need to know JavaScript, or you can actually learn it in a hackathon and make a remote. So what happens is the extension defines the remote and sends it to the phone. And the extension is fully open source and documented. So I'll take a look at a example remote here just to give you. These are all the remotes that I have right now. Some of them are broken, so there's not this many actually live. But so if you look at the Hype Machine remote, it's pretty simple. You define this object in JavaScript, something that happens when the page first loads. And then you have these blocks, and blocks determine what the remote looks like. And so you'll see that for search, coding search remotely is actually pretty easily, because all you're doing is redirecting the web browser to another URL based on whatever query you get in this function. So everything's abstracted to basically make it really easy for you. A lot of hackers have actually learned jQuery overnight by making a remote. You can see it's pretty simple. Look, see player, play, click by ID. And you choose the icons basically for the buttons. So I'll go into that a little bit. Blah, 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 blah. So for example, search. This is a search box that'll show up on the remote. And it just has 2 parameters, which is type and action. You put it in this array, it shows up in the box when someone goes to the web page. They can control it through their phone. Yeah, I think it's awesome that you guys have made remotes and contributed to it. And if you guys need help with front end at all, anything like that, that's what I do. Real-time Node.js stuff, JavaScript. I'll be around.
Thanks, Ian.
Oh, cool. Thanks.
Okay, next up is Columbia's own Polina Vero, who will be telling you about the Order and API. Yay!
Maybe. Okay, much better. So hi everyone, my name is Polina and I'm working at Orderin. So Orderin, as you can see, it's an open platform for online food ordering, and via us you can access over 11,000 restaurants all over the US to get the restaurant's menu, to place orders from them, etc., etc. So you can do all of this through 3 key APIs that we have. All of them are RESTful. So we have the Restaurant API, the User API, and the Order API. So in the Restaurant API, you can find the list of restaurants that deliver to here. Also, all of these calls you can check out in the API Explorer, where you can actually place test requests and see what comes back to it and play around with the format of what's being returned. So if you want something back as soon as possible to the local address, which is, I believe, 622 West 120th Street in New York. to this, let's see, what's the local? 10127. So now we will be able to get some data back, so we can see all kinds of restaurants that we get back. So if we check out the ID here, we can see the name, we can see the what cuisine it is, etc., etc. And if you want the actual menu for it, you can check out the restaurant details. Just give the restaurant ID that we found earlier, and we then can see, my computer is running a bit slow, so then we can see all of the menu, and we can then display it, have the users, then you can do all kinds of magic on the front end that you're doing. And then once you are ready to order, you can go to the Order API and input all of the things that you found. So the tray that you want to order for, the tip, where you want it to be delivered to, and the card number. And for your convenience, if you don't want to store any of this on your own, then we provide the User API, through which you can store the different account information. So if you want to store a person's delivery addresses or credit card info so that you don't have to ask for them all the time or store it on your own, you can do it through here. So as I mentioned earlier, all of our APIs are RESTful, but if you would like to access them through one of our code libraries, you may do so. So we fully support Node, Python, PHP, and Ruby. And that's pretty much it. So we have a bunch of awesome apps that were built on top of the Order-in API, such as a tool to order online through the command line, an Uber for pizza, and a bunch of others. And we also pay a commission to the developers who are going to be building things on top of us. So if an order comes through, you get a pretty nice percentage of the order that's come through. So thank you. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I will be around for most of the night. Thank you.
Next up is Shapeways.
Thanks. Hi everyone, my name is Beaky. I'm a software engineer at Shapeways. For those of you who haven't heard us, we are a 3D printing marketplace. What we do is we try to make 3D printing accessible to everyone. So anyone can upload a 3D model to our site and we will print it on our industrial grade printers and print it to them. We have high resolution plastics, we have steel, silver, brass, ceramics, whatnot. And for those who have really awesome 3D models and want to try to make some money, they can choose to sell those on our site, and we will handle all the printing, all the shipping, all the payments and stuff, and just send them their cut. Which is really exciting because, you know, for the most part, startups are exclusively software, because to make a startup with software, you only need a laptop. For physical products, that is much harder. Except now with Shapeways, all you need is a laptop again. But one thing that we've noticed is that not everyone can 3D model, right? And that's what is required for 3D printing. So we released an API that's RESTful and uses JSON and stuff that allows developers to create 3D modeling applications to simplify that process for most people. Some examples of this are this ring creator right here, which just takes a 2D black and white image and generates this three-dimensional ring for you. And it also allows you to do an engraving. So like you'd think that for most jewelers, if you wanted an engraving, you'd actually have to pay more money. With 3D printing, if anything, you'd be paying less, because an engraving reduces the amount of material that's used in the ring, and so there's less to pay for. Other examples of apps that use our API are this app called Terrafab, which is effectively a map of Norway. And you can pick a region that you want. And what it does is it generates a 3D model of that, which you can then upload to Shapeways and get it printed. and he offers a number of sizes. Some of them are really expensive, some of them are really cheap. This goes through OAuth as well, so I have to give him access to my account, and then he starts uploading. And a finished model of it looks like this. But we've also noticed that 3D graphics programming is also really hard, and we want to make that accessible to all developers as well. So we released something called Shape.js, which is a 3D graphics development library in JavaScript. So take a look at this two-dimensional black and white image. How many lines of code do you think that would normally take to create a 3D model of? It would probably be hundreds of lines of code. With Shape.js, it's about 20. And most of those are variable declarations. So I just uploaded that two-dimensional black and white image. This JavaScript program got sent to our servers, and the server returned this three-dimensional object, which can then be uploaded to Shapeways and printed in any of our materials. We have a number of other examples on our site. We have lots of mathematical art, lots of examples of jewelry, we have die creators too. And to get started, on our GitHub, we have a complete working example of Shape.js, which pretty much looks like this. All this does is it takes a two-dimensional image and creates a three-dimensional one. And if you have any questions about Shape.js or our API, you can email them to api@shapeways.com. I'll also be around for the next few hours during the hackathon. And I'll also be answering to this email address if you have any questions. Thank you.
Okay, is Charlie Robbins himself here? We have no Jitsu. I have no Jitsu on the paper. No Charlie. Okay, brilliant. And then DigitalOcean, are they up and running? Okay, you ready to demo? Yeah. Okay, sweet. We're happy to have DigitalOcean also presenting their API.
Guess Charlie was too busy with his trademark claims.
We love having DigitalOcean here, building internet infrastructure right here in New York City.
Yeah. So actually, we love DigitalOcean. Yes, DigitalOcean's struggling a little right now. I've been dealing with a whole morning of our scheduler not working, so it's a little difficult for me to actually demo the API for you right now. So I'll give myself a Twitter plug and hopefully get some more followers. And then I will actually just show you kind of how DigitalOcean works from a very high level. Nice responsive website there, guys. So DigitalOcean is a cloud infrastructure provider. It's similar to Rackspace or Linode or Amazon, AWS, EC2 instances. The main difference being that we're a lot easier to use. DigitalOcean is very, very simple to spin up a server. We also start at $5 a month, which is considerably cheaper than a lot of what other people are doing in the space right now. And also, we've built our infrastructure on these amazing, super fast Intel SSDs, and as a result, we're able to do 55-second deploy times. So we're cheaper, we're easier to use, and we provide a better service. So I'm just going to quickly show you kind of what DigitalOcean is like. Is there a way to make this better? I don't know anything. Thanks. So you would basically just sign in, and it would present you with this screen. So it'll present you with a screen similar to this one right now. These are actually all the droplets that I have spinning right now. These are my active ones and my inactive ones here. So I'm just going to create a new server. So I would just call this server 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or whatever. And then I would select the size of the server that you want. So you can see that we have a bunch of different sizes there. We start at $5 a month or 0.07 cents an hour. So if you were to run that for half an hour, you wouldn't actually get charged for the server technically. And so we have a whole bunch of sizes all the way up to some big guys like this. and then multiple regions. So I would probably deploy to NYC2. NYC1 is actually being deprecated right now, so it won't actually be an option, and we're about to open NYC3. And so I would select NYC2 just based on latency for our location right now, and we'll say that you're our demographic. We also have these Amsterdam data centers, which are really great for what's happening in Europe, San Francisco if you're on the other coast, and then Singapore if you're doing anything in Australia or Pan-Asia. Here are our Linux distributions. So as you see, we have Ubuntu, CentOS, Debian, Arch, and Fedora. But we also have these great one-click application installs, which are what a lot of our customers use. And so we have just standard stacks. So if you just want a quick LAMP stack or a quick mean stack or a quick Ruby stack, you can see that we put package Nginx and Unicorn in with that for you. And also a few of our nice little networking kernel tweaks that kind of make the droplets a lot more responsive. If you're using SSH keys, you'd have the option to add your key. I always recommend VirtIO, which basically adds virtual I/O. Private networking in all of our newer data centers, and then I would hit create. Now, if I hit create right now, nothing will actually happen because our create scheduler is down. I'll create it. So this actually won't create a droplet, but in 55 seconds, technically, droplet should come online. And then that droplet would appear in this screen now. You'd have an IP address, your root password, and you'd be able to log in. You can do all of this exact same stuff from developers.digitalocean.com, which is our API documentation. We have what I call a getful API. It's the most embarrassing thing ever. We're actually rewriting the whole thing right now. It should be out in about 3 weeks. It's going to be a beautiful, fully RESTful API with OAuth. You'll be able to integrate with it as like almost a platform service. But right now we have a getful API, so everything's get for destroy. It's a little embarrassing. But the good thing about it is you can just literally curl that URL and it'll return a response. So those are all the servers that I have running right now. So it's actually super, super easy to use, but it's still a getful API. So that's DigitalOcean in a nutshell. I really, really hope that you guys are able to deploy to it. We have a promo code hackNY for you guys, which is $75 in credit, which should give you about a year's worth of DigitalOcean. And so hopefully on the hackathon you kind of use it and deploy to it and have some fun with it. You can't break it. It's a lot of fun. Build them, throw them away, ship some code, and can't wait to see what you guys have built. Thanks so much, guys.
Okay, so that's it for the APIs. All the APIs are up on Hacker League. We have two fast community announcements. First, Abe Stanley is going to talk about hackNY Masters.
Yeah. So hackNY Masters is the conference that we're running. Could you talk on the mic? Okay.
Yeah, Abe, rock the mic. You speak.
How we doing?
I click.
Okay. Hi. Yeah. So my name is Abe Stanway. This will be real quick. So we're running a mini conference called the hackNY Masters. If you go to hacknymasters.com, you can see the schedule of it. The goal of this is to expose all you guys to like higher level technologies and concepts that you might not have otherwise been exposed to as students. And so we've got all kinds of great topics from JavaScript and Backbone to security to DevOps, all kinds of awesome stuff. So if you are so inclined, you can go to 833 Mud, which is over there. I think that's the main building. And we're also going to be running it in 501 Northwest Corner Building, which is around the corner. Okay, this is this room, right. So yeah, stop by, learn some stuff. It's going from 7:30 to 10. So yeah, you can hover over the speaker names and get whatever floats your boat. So yeah, feel free to come by.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, that was Abe, Rutgers alumnus, hackNY alumnus, co-founder of Hacker League. We're also going to hear from another hackNY alumnus. Yamil, you had some words to say?
Hey guys, again. We're super stoked to be sponsoring this and sponsoring the new generation of hackNY hackers. I love that there's so many first-time hackNY hackathon comers. Please use the mentors. We're all here for you. We will be here all night if we have to be. Use us. We're here for you. We're a resource for you. Maybe you have a story to tell. I don't know.
I mean, hackNY just means a lot to me. Like Swift working for SendGrid was like debugging my Django code at like 4 in the morning during my first hackNY like 2 years ago. And ever since, I haven't missed a single hackNY, and it's really awesome to come back as a mentor. So if you guys need anything throughout the weekend, again, as Emil said, find the mentors. We're a resource. And anything else, like, happy hacking.
Awesome. And speaking of Mike Swift, he has something to tell us about Major League Hacking.
Swift himself.
Yeah. What up, hackNY? How we doing? Everybody still alive? So my name is Swift. I'm from Major League Hacking. If you haven't heard of Major League Hacking, we're the organization that partners with awesome hackathons like this one and badass student hackers like yourselves to produce the official college hackathon season. By hacking here, you're earning points for your school. There's a really epic trophy that's actually in Maryland right now that the winning school is going to be able to engrave their name on. It's pretty crazy. Probably a lot of you have been to other Major League Hacking events, so you've probably heard this story before. I promise next season I'll come up with a new story. But at the beginning of the event, I like to talk about the first time I went to a hackathon and why this is so important. So the story starts back when I was in high school. I was running a landscaping company in my local neighborhood, and I was going to college, and I couldn't bring the lawnmowers to college with me. So I did what any young enterprising student would do, and I went on the Rutgers job board and sorted the jobs by how much they paid, and clicked the one at the top, and it happened to be a programming job. I wasn't a hacker. I certainly didn't identify as that. I didn't even tell anybody that I programmed because I was pretty embarrassed by it. It wasn't like the crowd that I ran with, and this definitely wasn't going to hackathons or doing things like this. So I was working in an accounting company I was working at a film company writing accounting software, and why they hired me to do that I don't really know because I didn't really know how to program at the time, but they did, and I did that for a number of years and didn't tell anybody. So around my sophomore year, I was building an igloo in my backyard at Rutgers. I had to leave to go to work, and one of my roommates is actually in the room, Ian, in the corner up there, asked where I had gone, and one of my other roommates must have ratted me out and told him that I was programming because that's what I did for a job. So he comes running to my room, bursts through the door and says, "Dude, I'm going to this thing called a hackathon. You have to come with me." I'm like, "Oh, you got the wrong guy. I totally don't program. That's not me." But he figured me out, and he brought me to my first hackathon. That was hackNY spring 2010, I want to say. I went, I'm sitting in a chair just like you guys watching API demos. I spent the whole night hacking on a mashup of this company, Drop.io, and Facebook. It was file sharing for your friends. And I locked myself out at the last minute and couldn't even present it. But I went home the next day and totally crashed. And when I woke up, I looked myself in the mirror and said, "That was awesome. I want to be a developer. Forget being a lawyer." And so thus I stand in front of you today. But the trick here is, the reason that I was so amazed is I went to a room and I saw hundreds of other people who were just like me, that love developing and love programming and identify as hackers and are sufficiently badass. And I wanted to be just like them. And go to more hackathons, tap into the community that's around you, and you can also have a similar story. So it's definitely worthwhile. Yeah, you guys are on the right track by being here. So anyway, I'm from Major League Hacking. If you want to learn more about that, moh.io, Twitter @mohacks. I'll be here all night, so feel free to tap me if you need any help. I've certainly debugged some apps before. So thanks, guys.
Well, that's it for this presentation. Chris is going to bring up the hacking rooms and tell you where you can go hack.
Okay, so we have a bunch of rooms for you to hack. I encourage you to go to Carlton first. That's where the food is. You can get powered up. All through the Mud Building, there's a bunch of hacking rooms. And keep an eye on the IRC and the Twitter page for more information. Let's get hacking.
I'm here on behalf of Ninja 2.
Oh, dude. Yeah, sorry, man. Called out for you.
Yeah, I guess. 3:30, I guess, was
tonight and hang out with you guys.
timing.
Okay. Thank you so much for still.
No problem. Sorry,
I'm
I was,
Do you have a hat?
I don't think so.
a little
Let's
last
give you
minute
a
for us.
hat, and then people will know that you're technical, and they can ask you questions.